Unit 4A, Lesson 4. In this lesson, we're going to discuss the difference between standard form and vertex form for quadratic equations, and then we're going to look at vertex form and analyze how to identify the extrema based on the equation. So first we'll look at standard form, and that's what you've been working with so far in this unit. It's y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Then we have vertex form, which is y equals a times the quantity of x minus h squared plus k. When it's in vertex form, we can quickly identify what the vertex of this graph would be. And it's going to be the ordered pair hk. So our x value of the vertex, if we were looking for that coordinate on the coordinate plane, it would be our h value, and then the y value would be the value of k in our basic equation. The vertex, if we're talking about the graph of a quadratic, it's a parabola. The vertex is either going to be the lowest point or the highest point on that graph. The value of a, the value of the constant multiplied out in front, that's going to determine if the graph opens up or down. If a is positive, then our graph will open up. If a is negative, the graph will open down. Okay, a quick way to remember, if a is negative, that's a bad thing. You have a frown face, the graph opens down. And then the term you have to recognize is the extrema. The extrema refers to the maximum or the minimum value, which is going to be the vertex. So the vertex is either going to be a maximum or a minimum. We determine that but based on the value of a, whether the graph opens up or down. In the first example, we want to use the vertex form to identify the extrema, which is going to be the minimum or the maximum value for the graph of this quadratic function that's going to occur at the vertex. So first, we can identify what the vertex of the graph is going to be. It's that ordered pair hk. In this equation, our h value is a positive 3. Remember, in the basic form, it's x minus h, so our h value is 3. And then the y value is 7. Our k value, which represents the y coordinate, is 7. So we have our ordered pair for the vertex. Now we have to determine, is that the maximum or the minimum value? So we look at our value of a. If there's no number out in front of our expression, it's understood that the a value is equal to 1 then, because 1 times anything is itself. We don't need to write it in there. If our a value is positive, our graph is going to open up. It's going to be a U shape. So the vertex is going to be the minimum value in that case. Since a was positive, our graph opens up. The lowest point is going to occur at the vertex. That is going to be a minimum value. In the next example, we have y equals 9 times the quantity of x plus 2 squared minus 3. So again, the first thing we want to do is identify the vertex. Then we'll look at the value of a to determine whether or not this is going to be a maximum or a minimum value. So first of all, our x coordinate, the h value, it's a little bit tricky. This is a part that gets confusing. If this is x plus 2, that is the same as x minus a negative 2. So even though we see x plus 2, our h value, the x coordinate of the vertex, is actually negative 2. Our k value, the y value of our vertex, is going to be negative 3. So our vertex occurs at negative 2, negative 3. Now we look at our a value. The value multiplied out in front is 9. So again, that is a positive value. The graph is going to open up. So the vertex is going to be the minimum value for that graph. So identify what our h and k values are, the x and the y coordinates for the vertex. Use the a value to determine whether or not it is a minimum or a maximum. It's a minimum in this case. Go through one more example of identifying the extrema. So our vertex in this case is going to be the ordered pair. Just like the last one, think of this as x minus a negative 1. So the x coordinate of the vertex is negative 1. The y coordinate is a positive 3. We look at our value of a. A this time is a negative 5. Oh, that was a good negative sign. Negative 5. If we look at the graph, think about the graph this time. If A is negative, it's going to be a frown face. The graph opens down. So this time when we have the vertex, that is going to be a maximum value. So understand vertex form, y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. Be able to identify the vertex from the equation, identify the a value, understand how those relate to the graph to determine if that is a maximum or a minimum.